Hello and welcome to another Open Classroom. This is James Middick speaking from Teach Online IO. And this is a site on Wednesdays, 1 o'clock, where we open the platform, let you answer or ask any questions about starting, building, growing your own learning campus, teaching online, creating courses, selling courses, marketing courses, packaging all the information that you have into courses where you can teach people actually to not only know, but actually do what it is that you do. So this is going to be an open session. If there are no questions, I do have some questions, but if there are no questions right away, I'm going to go into a whole bunch that we have that people have asked, members have asked, and we'll do our best to go through those and answer any questions. Now, one of the things that has sort of come up over the last week that I just wanted to touch on, maybe chat about at the start, is Teach Online and our agency, trainingsites.io, are building out campuses. So we're either teaching you how to build a campus, or we're actually building the campus courses, helping you with the marketing. So it's the done for you or the teach you how to do it yourself. So do it yourself or done for you kind of market. We have two companies, two different sites for that. So that's kind of what we're putting together. And I actually went to, or it's actually still on this week, but there was a 2-week cohort course that I participated in covering a tool that we've started to use since we converted over to Mac about creating online live webcasts. And I'm actually using it right now. It's a tool called Ecamm Live. It's a Mac only tool for doing live broadcasts. The best part is, of course, that it records everything as well. So anytime that we're doing a live webcast, in fact, we're recording it so that we can use it in our marketing and also to create courses based on the content we do live. Now, the part that's exciting to me about this is that the way that this works is it actually allows us to do edits on the fly. And what do I mean by that? The thing that I always did in the past is when we did a live video, it was basically just a live video. It was looking into the camera, basically going live using any of the tools that YouTube had available. And one of the things that had to happen after was we'd take that hour-long video or 30-minute video that we actually did as a live webcast, and then we'd have to go back and edit that. And when I mean edit, it means doing things like, well, we were showing a screen capture, or I wanted only a headshot, or I wanted a headshot and a screen capture. One of the things that, I started off doing when I started doing online training was, a pen, like a whiteboard. We'd write on the whiteboard and actually capture it. So there was those. There were times when we wanted to have comments come in and actually see the comments live on the screen. And in the past, we'd record something and then we'd have to go back and edit all of this content. And one of the things that Ecamm Live does that's really exciting to me as someone who enjoys sharing what I already know and have been doing for the last 30 years is being able to have somewhat produced content on a regular basis. It gets created from the live event that can be used on as a training site. So that's the part that's exciting for me, and Ecamm Live does that wonderfully. And that's something that we've been using now for the past couple months, and it's one of the courses that I took to learn how to use it better. And it was done in the form of a cohort. And of course, what that means to you and me is that I started the course last Monday. I finished the videotape material on Friday. Every day there was a live session with the instructor. This week, it's open Q&A and some guest instructors in talking about different pieces that work really, really well creating these online courses. So what I'm going to do right now, here's something that I'm going to do. One of the things we couldn't do in live sessions before is we had not a lot of trouble. It was just very, very difficult to actually create or put together materials that were on the fly. So watch what happens here. I'm actually going to do, we'll see if we can get this working. There we go, second camera. So we've actually got an iPhone set up here as a camera. I'm just going to adjust it a little bit. This one's set up in the office, but I've got two monitors going. And in this case, I'm actually looking at a different monitor with a different camera. So we've got two cameras that are set up here. which is really nice to be able to actually do that. So I'm just going to, on this other screen, I'm going to open up some of my notes. We'll go to that and then spend some time going over the different parts that we have that are allowing us to actually go forward and use these videos after the fact. So wanted to make sure that we've got a live feed here properly and we got some sound coming out, and we do. So perfect, that's running. Good news, we're all set back there. And let's go back to the other video. I'm going to go over the different pieces that we have that is in this live shot. So I just showed you one. We've got two cameras going. I've got two monitors that I can work from, but I've got two cameras going. If you came on right at the start, you'll see that we actually had a 30-second intro. That, of course, can be removed or edited quickly after the recorded live session, but it's something that is there that makes it look professional. It's not a headshot, it's not a camera, it's got some music on it. My voice is muted so you don't hear it, and it automatically goes to the live feed as soon as that is done. So I've got a headshot that is live. That's the one that you're seeing right now. Pretty cool. I've also got the second camera, which is the next scene, which the one I just showed you. The other one I do is I do have something which is a headshot and comments. So if there are live comments during the live feed, they're going to show up here and we can actually go over them during the live feed, which is a real powerful tool because it's nice to be able to look into the camera and be able to in fact see the comments as they come up and cover those during these live classrooms. So think about that when you're teaching, right? You've got a situation where people are asking you questions. They come up on the comments. You can address them as soon as they come up, or you can prioritize them based on what the questions you're getting. And again, this is a great way for that cohort or blended learning where you have live sessions and recording sessions. You know, you've given someone some instructions or taught them something in a recorded video, and now you're going, okay, so how did you make out? And if people have questions, you can answer them here live during the live coaching sessions that complement your courses. I've got another one that I really, really like, and this is one that we started using almost 20 years ago. It would have been 2001, 2002, when we started doing actual live broadcasts for training. It was done with a tool for whiteboarding, and that particular one used a neat tool for whiteboarding, which I also have here now. So this one, I'm going to put my head down. You'll see I've got a screenshot of my head, but I've also got the ability to write on the screen. So this is an opportunity for an instructor to be able to, you know, provide graphic cues or be able to, you know, make live examples, whether they be written posts or using graphics, but it's just like teaching in front of a whiteboard. Really, really powerful tool. This one's called a video pencil. There's some other neat things you can do with that too, and some of them include things like pencil. So I've actually just said the word pencil. It's written it on the blackboard for me. So really cool tool. We have headshots now. We've got screen captures. We've got picture in picture where we've got a screen capture and another one. The other thing I can do is I can, you know, just do a live screen share. So that as I'm working, for example, on a site right here, as I move through the website on my desktop, it's going to start showing up as a live feed right on your screen. So again, this is a really powerful tool. You know, here's a listing, for example, of the courses that are available on the Teach Online site. We've got a whole bunch of them here. There's one. Here, we'll just open up this course, 3 types of course sales pages. This one right here is 10 modules as an example. We've got 6 lessons and 10 modules, 3 types of sales pages. This is a complete course, but you'll see that I've got my headshot and a live screen capture. So anything that I'm doing here live on the screen shows up on your screen. It'll also do applications. And if I want to go and, for example, go and show you a mind map, I can actually work live on the mind map here on my screen, and it's going to show up on your screen. Mind maps are a wonderful tool for organizing ideas, especially courses, where you're in a position that you can actually go and create courses. And let me just open up another one here. We'll just open up another recent one Let me do one here. Do one, 10 steps to create a great online course. And this particular one is an example. I can work on this one live. I can work on it with you. I can use it as a prompt for myself as the instructor to go through different pieces that I'm working on. But again, Ecamm Live has given me a scene that allows me to work on an application on my desktop, not only the browser. Sometimes I want to go and say, you know what, I want a full screen. I don't want to show myself on it, but I just want a full screen. So as I work up and down the screen, it'll show up and give me the ability to work on instructions. Kind of neat thing here too is I actually have the ability to bring my picture in and put my picture away if, for example, I needed to stay on a screen for a while and not really work on it. So there's a whole bunch of different things that I can use with these scenes. And as an instructor, if you're teaching something, it's not just about a PowerPoint presentation. It's not just about you talking into the camera. There's all sorts of other tools that are available to us that allow us to create valuable content, both for live training and also recorded training. And that's what this whole thing with blended learning is all about. So we're using this tool. It's called Ecamm Live. Again, unfortunately, it's for Mac only at this point. But the exciting part for us as an instructor or as a course creator is it can reduce or minimize the number of steps that are required in terms of editing. Because I have all of these different formats that are here of content that I can use to instruct or to teach or to share, I'm not required to record them separately and edit them and bring them together. You get pretty proficient using these when you've got the scenes that you want. And I went through 7 or 8 scenes that we've set up. If I have a presentation, I now have a structured course or instructions that I can go through in an order and be able to present them and record it and have it pretty close to a finished course. But more importantly, if I wanted to break it up, I've got some easy places to break it up and make it something that makes sense to you. So again, just a very powerful tool, gives you a lot of flexibility and the opportunity to really, to be a better instructor or to save some time for yourself. Okay, so see if there was any comments. No comments at this time, which is fine. I get it. We're just starting out doing these. What I will do now is, I think what we'll do is I'm just going to switch over to my other camera here and we'll spend some time over there. And what I'll do is I'll actually look at and see if there's some questions here that come up and see if those are ones that are something that you may want to have answers to. So let's see what we got here. What I did with this one is I had asked for some questions that most people have about creating online courses, things that you might want to consider when you're getting started. So I'm going to go through some of those. And again, if you do have any questions after, you can certainly put them in the comments. The best thing to do, though, of course, is to go and visit teachonline.io and go register as part of the community. It's absolutely free. You can put your questions there, and we've got hundreds of free videos that you can watch that'll teach you to exactly create your own courses, create your own online campus, be able to market your campus, market your courses, and in fact, build an education business. So if you haven't already done that, make sure to go to teachonline.io and sign up for the community. Again, absolutely free. If you're really stuck and you're going, man, I don't have time for this, can you just build one for me? Go to trainingsites.io. And that's a place where we actually build complete campuses for you. This is a start to finish campus builder. You're all set. You don't have anything to worry about. You give us the ideas, branding, the information that you need to portray. We'll actually set the campus up, and in fact, we'll help you build out the course, create the course so that you can start earning some money from it. One of the questions that I always get asked at time is, I understand, James, you help people create courses. I'm a subject matter expert. I got a real passion for something. Should I turn it into a business, or can I turn it into a business, or do I have to turn it into a business? And that's one of the things that a lot of people ask. And I think the best way to look at it is to really think at the start about And this is a question that we ask up front all the time. It's like, what is the purpose or the goal of creating your campus and creating courses? Just because you're a subject matter expert doesn't mean you have to create a course for it. And in fact, in many cases, you may not want to do that. Let me just give you an example here of how that's important. I'm just going to clear the screen here, and we'll clear the drawing there. So you have to kind of think, if you've got a big passion here, you got the big passion, you're excited about something, you're going, man, I really like this. It excites me. My news feed is about it. My Instagram account is about it. I got a Facebook group that I'm part of. I'm really super passionate about something. So is that enough to create a course? Maybe, maybe not. What you have to decide is, am I positioned to answer questions? Because if you are going to be passionate about something and you want to actually create a course about it, there's a couple people that have to have questions and answers. The people who are going to consume the course, you're going to want to make sure that they have questions and that they're looking for answers to those questions. It's one thing to have a course, but it's very, very difficult to sell or market a course if no one has questions for it. And what questions do is they actually show you the interest in getting answers to what you're passionate about. So the first thing is, when you're thinking about this, is you're going to go, oh, I want to create a course. You got to be passionate about something. There's got to be people who are asking questions about it. And just because you're passionate about it doesn't necessarily mean that you have answers. So it's like, okay, I got passion. I can answer all of the questions, or a lot of the questions, or most of the questions that people have that they're searching for. And those are, that's really about a supply and demand question, right? You've got a supply of content and answers. They've got a supply of questions, and that's the place to start. And if you have that, yeah, you can create courses. Absolutely. There's not a problem creating courses. In fact, you're already probably creating a course. You just don't even know that you're creating a course. You're probably doing blog posts. You're probably doing social media posts. You're probably talking to people. And all of this content and all of your answers are coming out to people. You're just not organizing it in the form of a course. Maybe answering those questions, you may have the answers for them. People may have the questions. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have a goal for a course, you have to decide, first of all, is there enough questions? Do I have the answers? But the other piece you're going to have to answer is, are they willing to pay for it? You have to decide, am I going to create a course and give it away, or is it part of a business? I didn't say, is it a business? I said, is it part of a business? And that kind of middle area there, that part in the section, is really about, are people willing to get your answers to their questions? And that's the one that no one knows until, first of all, well, it's easy to find out. You can see if someone else has done it. If someone else is doing it and they're doing it consistently, and you can go and sign up for their course and they've got other people taking their course, then there are some people who are willing to pay for it. If you can't find anyone that's doing the course or willing to pay for it, then you have to decide, is it my passion? Does it answer questions? Am I in the right particular passion? And do I have answers to those questions? And are people paying for it? You're going to have to start. If you want to treat it as a business, you're going to need that third part, people willing to pay for it. You have to have customers. If you're just going to do it for fun, you can certainly do that, but don't attempt to turn it into a business if you're just doing it for fun. Now, there's always caveats to everything, and I can say that, looking at you in the camera and writing down some stuff on a screen. But when you're treating it as a business, the course is a revenue stream for you. It's part of your business. And most people who are subject matter experts, who are content creators, a course is just one form of content. There's other ways to package your information that isn't in a course that you can still earn money or generate revenue from. So that's why I say a course is just part of it. Just consider, is it a part that I want to be involved in? Am I willing to make a commitment? And the revenue stream that I can generate from it, is that something that is worthwhile? That's why, at tradingsites.io, when we build out customer campuses, it's just that. It's like start, build, and grow. And we have a complete map on building in your own campus and being a subject matter expert who teaches online. But you got to be able to start for the right reasons. And we just talked about a couple of them here. You got to be able to start. You've got to be able to build a course and content. You have to be able to market it. Those 3 pieces to it that you have to be in a position to do if you want it to be a business. And we help you do that on tradingsites.io to actually have it done for you. If you go to the teachonline.io, we'll teach you how to follow that map. And in fact, it's the free course that you get when you become part of the community, the 8 steps that are there. All of that whole campus piece. So the question is, what is the main goal of the online course? That's the question we ask everyone right at the start. What's the main goal? What is it that's really important to you, that's important to your potential customers, and that they're willing to pay for? Am I going to give it away? Do I want to charge for it? Is it part of my business? Is it standalone? Where does it all fit in? So you have to be really clear yourself and just say to yourself, hey, what is this? Is it important to me? Where does it fit in? And write it down. So if you haven't yet, write it down. Make a list of, where's my course? Who's it for myself? Where does it fit in for me? And the second part is who's the target audience? Who do I need to target or talk to about this passion in these courses that I'm creating? I'm thinking about, if I take a look and I see what we're doing, I'm excited helping subject matter experts. So it's people who are coaches, consultants, speakers, authors. They're passionate about something. They want to add courses to their mix of business. We also help a lot of companies now as well, where they're in a position where they're going, man, I got a whole bunch of employees. They're working at home now, maybe they're all over the country, all over the world. How do I train and educate them about our business, our sales, our processes, all of the things that you need to teach internally? There's still all sorts of people that are doing that. So we help companies do that as well. That's our particular target market. Small and medium businesses and subject matter experts. So anyone who wants to teach online or build out a training site. And you have to do the same thing. Who is that person that is going to pay? In the case that I'm using in as example, who's going to pay? What's that target market? Who do I want to help? Who has the questions for my answers? So write that stuff down right at the start. Even before you're creating your course, make sure to write that down. And I just want to talk about the third question that comes up all the time is, if you are an expert on something, or you consider yourself an expert on something, I'm betting that you could talk about it for days. You could go on and on and on about what it is that you know and what it is you're excited about. The thing is, the people that have the questions don't have a day's worth of questions. In many cases, they have a couple questions or specific questions about an area of your passion. So even when you're creating a course, the big problem that I see with people starting out is they think that they have to have the mother of all courses. It's the biggest course that they've ever created. It takes 3 days to finish. It's 24 hours of content. It's an absolute dump of stuff on people. And it's really, really hard to rein yourself in when you're starting. What's the purpose of the course? Who wants it and who's willing to pay for it? And the other question is, how much do I want to give to them? What are some specific problems that the majority of people have that are interested in your content? What are the big problems that you can answer? Not all of the questions. What are the big questions and the big problems that people are looking to fix quickly? If I want to fix something specific, I don't want to watch 24 hours of content. I don't want to search through 24 hours of content. I want to be in and find out, hey, if I spend 20 minutes and I get everything I need to know about this that allows me to move forward, that's enough. So when you're thinking about your courses, you're thinking, is a course a good idea for me? Think of the major questions, major problems that your potential clients or potential customers are having, and how can I structure my passion for that little piece, And you might have heard the word pick the right niche. I'm not a fan of niches. I'm a fan of themes. And when you're passionate about something, there's often a hub or a center kind of big piece you're passionate about. But in my experience, there's always been spokes or kind of little pieces that feed off of that hub. I call it hub and spoke marketing or hub and spoke course creating. And really it's about always remembering what your hub is, but thinking about what are the spokes that fit with that hub. And the majority of the spokes that you will run into over and above the ones that excite you are the major problems or grouping of questions that your potential customers have. So if you can figure out what are the main spokes for my hub, what are the main problems, and start building those out, that's a great place to, really think about creating your course, building a business, finding people that want to take it, solving problems they have, and getting them to pay for it. So those are questions that I always get about the start. It's like, I'm thinking about a course. Should I do one? Where does it fit into my business? How do I know if it's something that I got to sell? Those are kind of like the three things you got to think about right at the start. So in my opinion, what I've done at the start is I didn't create a big honking course at the start. I actually created tons of little courses that answered specific questions that were all related to something. So we started off, the first big site I had was My Small Biz University. And we looked at, it came about after because I had a first course I did was how to set up a blog. Another course I did was build my list. Third one I did was get ranked first on Google. And you can see those are all parts of small business marketing and entrepreneurship. How do I start a small business? Well, you're going to have a website. If you're going to have a website, you need to build a list. If you're going to be able to have people finding your website, you're going to be able to have some search engine traffic. So get ranked first on Google. We created a bunch of spokes, and at the end of the day, it was like, oh, people are asking these questions. That hub kind of shows up because all of the spokes are connected to it. So do that homework beforehand when you're thinking about it. Write it down. I use a mind map all the time and just kind of put in the center that just right hub and just think about, this is what I'm passionate about. What are the other pieces that keep on coming up? And write it down in terms of a mind map. Put that idea for a hub in the beginning and think about those main groupings of problems that people run into. So where's a course? Should I start a course? Do that homework first. Always do that homework first. It'll save you a ton of time later instead of going, oh, I got this huge course. I want to create a monster course. And it's been my experience that when you're thinking about the monster course or creating the be-all and end-all course, you never get started for a number of reasons. One, it's too much work. But the second thing is you go, it's got to be a big course. I'm going to charge a whole bunch of money for people for my big course that don't know me. And the course has to be perfect before I sell it. It just doesn't happen. So start where you are. Always keep that hub in the vision of what you're doing and start with those individual spokes that are part of the hub. Some of the other questions that I had was, how will you define and measure the success of your course? And it's one thing to create a course. It's another thing to think about, if I do create it, how do I know if it's worth my time, energy, and effort? How many people do I need to have as customers? How good do I have to feel about the content I've created? Do I have to be in a position where the people who take the course actually not only know something or do something? Are they in a position that I'm going to say, you know what, you're going to be able to put this together, you're going to be able to have this course, and at the end of the course, you're going to be able to do this, or you will have done that. And you have to think about, okay, I'm going to do this course. Is it something I really need to spend time with up front? Is it something that is important to me to get started? and to think about about those things. I'm just going to move my camera up here. There we go. That's something a little bit different. We'll move that around. One of the things that's neat here is when you're doing all of this stuff too is there's a lot of technology. See, watch this. I'm going to get connected here and see if we can get followed. Come on, camera. There we go. There's a lot of things that kind of happen in the background too. So you get an idea for the course, you're going to have to create a course too, and that involves a whole bunch of technology. And one of the things that come up is like, how am I going to create a course? What do I need to create a course? And the one thing, there's kind of a term that I use or that I refer to on a regular basis, and it's called digital exhaust. So if you haven't thought about that or written it down yet, just think about capturing what you're doing now and turning those into courses. And there's some real value in there, being able to, really to go and not only capitalize or organize what it is that you're doing on a regular basis, but put it in a position where, let me see if we can move myself over. There we go. Gotta love technology. Being able to capture what you're doing, not only for yourself, but it allows you to create courses without creating courses. And I started talking at the beginning of this as having it set up so that that I was doing live sessions with Ecamm Live and capturing it and turning it into courses. And that's what you need to do. And those capturing of your digital exhaust is all of the things you do on a regular basis. Things like what emails and questions that you answer for your existing customers. Some of the things that you do on social media that you get answers to, or things that come up as a result of posts that you make and or you read, or problems that you see. Searches that you do, videos that you watch, things that you do as recordings when you're explaining things to people, processes that you have, content that you create. Start capturing all of those, but knowing now is that I have these ideas for problems that my potential customers and customers have. I captured these answers during my daily activities. How does that fit in to one of those spokes that I have? And how can I organize it with the spokes? And that's the real, the part that's exciting for me is when I do things like that, I'm in a really cool position where that whole putting together that whole idea of having a map or mind map, that gives you a ton of opportunity on how these things work. So let me just give you an example. We'll see if we can get this here. I'm just going to move the screen around a little bit. So on this one here, as an example, just minimizing some of the things here. And again, this was one that was done quite a while ago. It's kind of interesting. I actually found a mind map on one of the sites that I did in 2011, I think it is. And it's still good content. But here's one as an example that we did a long time ago that I just found. It was like the Campus Blueprint course. This was the original one. And it was set up a blog, plan your courses, get ready to get your site ready to deliver your courses, capture and package your courses, and promote your campus. So these were kind of the steps that came up. We wrote them down in a map, and the reason is because we were doing them on a regular basis. We had to set up a campus or a blog for ourselves. There was no campuses at that time. It was only a blog or a website. That was kind of the only way that we had it done. We had to plan courses, or we were planning courses because we were sharing blog posts at the time, answering questions that people had. It wasn't courses, it was actual blog posts. So people would ask and say, well, what about this? Or how do I do that? Or when should I do this? Or why is that important? Or, what are the 3 reasons for doing this? And these were all questions that were coming up that we were answering in blog posts as individual pieces of content. So we got to the point where we started going, okay, I've got all these posts, I'm capturing these questions and answers. How can I put it together in the form of a course or organized fashion that answered a grouping of questions? Getting your blog ready to deliver your course. And this is all about a business plan. I talked about a little bit at the start was, being able to have the market for people wanting to pay. And I also talked about courses are not only being the only way to generate revenue on your website. So if you're going to have some kind of campus or you're going to be able to sell a course, you have to be able to take payments for that. And you have to figure out, how am I going to give people access to the course? There's a whole bunch of technology that's kind of in the ballpark there. You got to take a look at that. That was part of it. How are you going to capture and package your courses? So we only had blog posts at the time, but we were starting to do podcasts where we had audios. I started off with a podcast called The 52 Secrets My Mom Never Told Me About Internet Marketing. That was something we did right at the start. It was 52 audio files. Okay, so how am I going to capture those audio files? And how am I going to package them in the form of a course? So how do I take that audio and blend it in with the text that we were doing in the blog posts? So it's kind of interesting in terms of capturing that digital exhaust, but then packaging all of the different types of content we were creating and packaging it into the form of a course. And of course, the last one was a promotion. If you're going to, earn some money from this, you're going to have to find a way to sell it and market it. And these things take time, but they're all part of a process. And why I think it's a good idea to use a mind map is to be able to see these and organize them, not only for yourself, but you can end up using it to help organize and help your clients. And we just write posts down. So for example, you can see under these ones here, I'll try and make it a little bit bigger here for you so you can see it a little bit more. That first one, set up a blog, you can see right there where my mouse is moving underneath set up a blog, it says 61. I have 61 subtopics that we wrote down there. I'm not showing them here, but if I click that, it's going to open, get your story right. Where are you going to host it? What are the WordPress basics? Event calendar, network. So these are the things that, we are going about setting up the blog. Membership versus campus. How scared are you? Surf, subscribe. These were things that we wanted to do in terms of the story to market it, but also for ourselves. Where were we going to host it? What was the domain name going to be? We did it on WordPress. So it's like, what plugins do we need for billing? What theme do we need? What are the other tools that we need to actually capture the content? Things like an event calendar, different networks and services. The next one was list building as an example. How are we going to capture the email addresses? How are we going to send email out to people? So we were writing down the things we were doing on a regular basis, using this map and collecting the ideas in a way that help us organize it, not only for ourselves, but in the forms of course content as well. Exact same thing can be done for creating courses. Okay, so take the time, make some posts, capture what you're doing, and figure out at the end of the day, how am I going to know whether or not what I'm capturing is helping people, and am I helping enough people in the way that I wanted to help? And if you're going to be part of a business, you have to figure out, if I'm going to spend this time, energy, and effort on creating a written, like a finished course, what's the goal of it? How will I know if it was worthwhile? Is it money? Is it the number of people that you want to certify? Is it a number of people that you want to attend? Is it a number of people you want to complete? So you should have some kind of goal for the course that you're creating, and having that as something that, that is worthwhile working for you. Again, it's got to do something personal, but if it's a business, it's got to be a goal that fits into the business. The last thing I think people who are course creators want to do is create a course that no one takes. And you have to decide, is it my course, or is it the topic of the course, or am I not marketing? And there's all sorts of reasons. But if you don't have a goal for what success is for that course, you're not even going to be able to fix what is or isn't broken. So spend some time with those questions and answers. If you do have questions of your own, I'm just going through some that I had written down, but if you do have questions, don't be afraid to reach out and ask some questions on the teachonline.io site. I'll just see if there are any questions here today. It doesn't look like it, which is fine. And yeah, so just go to teachonline.io, join the community, ask some questions there about getting started with a campus or creating courses, how to create courses, whether you should create courses. All of that stuff is available there for you. What else could I think? I'm going to some of the other questions that we get on a regular basis revolve around some of the technology that we use to actually create the courses. And what I'll do is I'm going to spend maybe a couple minutes just going through probably the biggest addition that we made. Actually, I haven't done this before, so just bear with me. What I'm going to do is, let me see if I can do this one. I think I can, so let's just try this. I'm going to go and I'm going to actually show you Ecamm. And I believe I know how to do this after the course, but we should be able to see that. And live demo mode, here we go. So I'm actually going to show you what it is that I'm actually doing while I'm doing it, which is kind of interesting. You should be able to see my screen right now. And on my screen, you're going to see there's the mind map that I was working on right there. You can also see my browser is in behind, the one that I was working for. I've got my scenes that were there that we talked about before, thing called overlays, and I also have my comments that are there. So this is the actual screen that I'm working for. The one that I want to spend a couple minutes with you on is this whole thing of scenes right here. And this is the tool that we use for the live sessions. And I've set these tools, these scenes up. I'll show them to you again briefly, just so you know what I see and how it works. So I got my headshot. I got my iPhone, which is over on another piece here. So I'm looking at my iPhone now. Again, so that is a different screen. It's set up there. I've got my headshot and my comments. So this scene has the headshot here, the comments which are here, and these are the comments that are there. And the part that, again, this is something that's done live. So if you got a live training session on, you see the comments here. And the cool thing about the comments that we're going to start to see is that when I'm doing a live broadcast, I can broadcast. Right now I'm just doing it to YouTube because we're just getting started with these. But at the same time, I can actually do multiple streams to different networks. So I can do this to Amazon live. I can do this to Facebook live. I can do it to Twitter. Twitter I haven't done, but I think I can do live. I can do it to my Facebook page, my Facebook group. I can do it to YouTube, of course. These are all places that I can output them on. And the exciting part to me is that if I'm even doing these broadcasts, the comments are from the different networks as well. So if someone's doing comments on YouTube, I'm going to see those. If someone's doing a comment on Facebook, I'm going to see those as well. So it doesn't matter what platform people are on. I'm actually in a position where I can be involved with people during these live sessions. The other one I have is that video pencil. I'll turn that one on. That one right now is if you, this is just, I don't know if you can see that. So that's just an iPad that we have. That's where I'm using the pencil. It's an Apple iPad. I've got my Apple Pencil here. And as I write stuff down on the iPad, it shows up on the screen there. So on this one, let's see if I can get a, yeah, so we're just writing on the screen there. Pretty cool tool there. So I've got Ecamm Live. I got another camera there. Technically, I've got three cameras, right? I've got the headshot camera that's here. I had the iPhone camera, which is here. And technically that the iPad is a camera as well. So we've got three cameras that we can switch back and forth. I've got the browser. So if I click the browser shows up, and that is just this browser right here. So I'm moving my screen up and down, and you can see it showing up over here. So this is a live website. I go and I take a look at a cohort, some of the cohorts that we have set up. Again, these blended learning ones. So, you know, building a campus. That cohort's there, screen captures here, headshots out of the main camera, which I'll tell you about in a second. Xmind, that's the map right here. So if I move this up and down, you're going to see that it changes on the screen as well. Pretty cool. Got the full screen browser, and I've actually got another widget one here. But these scenes are the ones that I can move through live during the live webcast. And of course, all of this is recorded. And the scenes, although I have these scenes set up today that are based on camera angles and things like that, these scenes, think of them as the presentation scenes. So, or the course scenes. If you know you're doing a presentation and you want to turn it into a course, You can do a scene for level or lesson 1. You can do a scene for lesson 2. You can do a scene for lesson 3. So you can actually spend 1 hour, 90 minutes, 30 minutes, 4 hours, whatever time you need, actually just doing one presentation, but going through each of the individual scenes based on where you want to make a cut or an edit and treat it as a lesson. And you can have as many scenes as you want. I broke down the scenes in this example as something that was done specifically for showing the different mechanics of it. But if I was creating a lesson, I'm going to have a whole set of lessons built there. 6 lessons, 30 lessons, 4 lessons, and they can each be whatever amount of time that they need to be to get the point across. At the end of that, you've got a 60-minute video or the total video, and you've got simple edits that each time the scene changes, you just make a cut, save that section from the live. You've now got a lesson that you can use in the course. Really, really powerful tool in that respect, and something that you should always consider when you're doing these live ones. Where do I use it? What do I do with it after? So that's kind of the big picture behind the scene here. The one thing that I didn't share with you, and I'll show you that one right now, is that we do have one, and let me just go to this. I'm actually going to go to one of the screens, and this is the one I haven't talked about. This one, if you go to the teachonline.io/resources, you're going to see some of the recommended tools that we use. And the one that's the biggest one, that's been the biggest change for me, is this one right here, which is called, right down at the bottom, this one here, the Insta360 webcam. A lot of the stuff that's confusing for me personally was having being a master camera person and knowing all of the stuff for cameras to get it to work properly. The Insta360 webcam is, if you've heard of a GoPro before, GoPro's kind of a cool thing for 4K action camera. The Insta360 is that kind of camera that's been added to the whole market for consumer or web professional things. So not physical out in the real world stuff, we're talking about in the office. A couple cool things that it does. First of all, it's 4 camera. There's 2 really important things that it does that you've seen here today. One of the big ones is that you can actually have it follow where you go. So I can start to move around, and in this case, we'll see if we can, I don't think I have it turned on, but I'll turn it back on. There we go. So if I move on the screen, it actually follows me around. So if you're actually live up in front of the camera doing stuff, standing, it'll follow you around. And actually you can actually set it to stay head, half body, or full body. So it's really great for recording live sessions, actual live instructing sessions, or in front of the camera or back, whichever place you want to do. The other thing that's really cool with it is it does have a whiteboard mode. And I'm talking about a physical whiteboard where you can stand and work on the whiteboard like you normally would, a real live night whiteboard, and it will stay focused only on the whiteboard. Neat thing with that as well is that actually I can turn on hand gestures so that if I make a particular shape, for example, it will either zoom in or zoom out. I can use my hands to make changes on what the camera does. So it's a really easy camera to use. It has a lot of powerful tools, and it removes all of that stuff that a lot of people get stuck up with or stuck into when they're doing their sites. Now, I just got a message here that my iPad is a little bit under power. There's not much left, so I'm going to plug it back in just while we're there, put that to the side. So that's the kind of cool tool that we're using, but it makes it easy in terms of the technology that's involved. So we got eCam, I got a video camera, I have a microphone in front of me. I'm just using a Yeti Blue, which is a really nice, easy microphone to use, and the reason it's kind of easy is it's in a position where you can get good quality audio that stays with the video and sounds good, and if someone's listening to it, they're not overcome with either trying to listen or being irritated on how the audio sounds. So real professional, inexpensive way to get started. So, if you got a Mac, real basic Mac, I have a Mac Mini, the older one, the M1 chip, not the one that just came out recently. I've got Insta360 camera and a Yeti Blue and a Mac. And all that I'm doing is capture it in Ecamm. So pretty straightforward stuff. Digital exhaust. All I need to do is when I'm doing this stuff and I know I'm doing something that is something I can use for a course, just turn on Ecamm and record it. Just record the screen. You don't have to go live with Ecamm. You can only record the screen if that's something you choose to do. If you want to go live, you can. If you want to just record, you can. If you want to do both, you can. One other cool thing with Ecamm that's I'm going to start using now is that it also allows me to take what you see here on the screen or any of the things that I did with these scenes. I can actually have these scenes be my camera for Zoom. So when you're doing live blended training, pretty cool. You're going to have the ability to take this content that we were just doing here. I'm going to be able to take that out and use it. I'm going to be able to use it as what shows up in Zoom on my feed. If I'm an instructor and I'm doing a Zoom call, I can do my presentation with the scenes here and have that show up for all the people on the Zoom call. Again, really powerful tool. Zoom for me is a pain in the... I hate using it. I always get kind of missing... not missing, I end up doing full screen stuff where the controls of Zoom get hidden or they're not showing, then you're trying to find them. It just doesn't allow you to do all of the things that we did here. Just with the example with the headshots, the comments, that stuff we can have that scene show up in Zoom if I'm doing a live Zoom call. Again, really powerful tool, easy to use, and something that I'm going to spend some more time on in the future. Okay, so we'll do another one here. So let me do Insta360. That's one of the pieces that I looked at. What are some of the other ones that I might want to talk about here? Continuity camera. Oh, my iPhone's got less there. Okay. It wasn't the iPad, it was the iPhone. So we'll open this one up. I'm going to go to the output here and let's get rid of the live demo mode. We're finished. Live demo mode is over and we're back to the screen here. Okay, pretty cool stuff. Once you get started with this, start capturing the stuff. It's a great opportunity to create some courses there. So let me see if no questions here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in for landing today. Again, I just kind of talked for 52 minutes just because I'm passionate about this stuff. Again, these are not structured in the terms of a course. Am I going to be able to use some of this from a course? Yeah, I'm going to cut, slice, and dice this, put together. You'll see it in some individual lessons. You'll see it as blog posts, repurposed in a whole bunch of different areas. And some of these sections might, in fact, be used in a course somewhere, which is really cool. So start capturing what it is you're doing. If you're not a Mac user, there are other ways to do this on the PC side. A little bit different, but some of it the same. You can use the same camera. You can use the same microphone. These are things that are all available to you, but you're going to put a system together that capture what it is that you're already doing. And then think about, do I need a course? Do I want a course? Do I have a course that's worthwhile making? What am I expecting from the course? How will I know if it's worthwhile? Spend some time doing this stuff up front. That's that whole start part, right? Before you build out a course, start and make sure that there's a good reason for the course in the first place, and then capture what you're already doing to create the course. Don't create a course just by trying to answer everything up front. Answer the big questions up front that people already have and be able to share that with them. And you're going to find that it's a much easier way for you to do it, and it's a much easier way for people to get involved and join your community. And if they're serious about your answers to their questions and you've got multiple answers to their multiple questions, you're going to end up creating a community while trying. And if you want to create a community and a campus, that's when you need to either learn how to do this teach online stuff we're teaching, or have us do it for you at trainingsites.io. So hope you enjoyed this session. This is James Maduke speaking. Again, this is the place where we start, build, and grow online education sites and campuses with you. And you can do it yourself. Join the community at teachonline.io. If you want it done for you, go to trainingsites.io. It's an agency. We take care of all of the technical stuff for you and just help you capture the content that you already have and put it in the form of a course where you can sell it, hopefully. So I want you to take care, expect the best, have some fun, and we'll see you again next week on Wednesday at 1. And if you haven't subscribed, of course, to the YouTube channel, do that. And again, go to the community, Teach Online community, and get involved there. Thanks. Take care.